What is going on, everybody? It is your boy Blank Online here today to chat with you some more about not even just Modern Warfare or Call of Duty. Gaming in general is being ruined by skill-based matchmaking. And I don't know if you guys know this, because obviously we're a very Call of Duty centric channel here, but skill-based matchmaking is actually affecting the wider gaming community. Popular games such as Fortnite is having to deal with the effects of skill-based matchmaking as well. A couple days ago I saw on Twitter that hashtag remove skill-based matchmaking was trending for a certain period of time, and I thought, oh shit, alright, we getting some traction for Modern Warfare, but I ended up finding out it was just Fortnite stuff and Fortnite people wanting to get skill-based matchmaking removed, but that's okay. At least there's a bit of awareness there on the fact that skill-based matchmaking has no place here in gaming. One of the main things that skill-based matchmaking does, and please just stick with me, I do have to explain this a little bit, at least for people who may be watching this and don't understand skill-based matchmaking. What skill-based matchmaking does is it gives players a skill rating dependent on some sort of algorithm within the game's matchmaking system. The game will then pair you with other players who are around, near, or of the same skill rating as you to create a more competitive environment. How this doesn't help gaming is when it's implemented into competitive, or when it's implemented to games like Call of Duty and Fortnite, which are shooter games, which are competitive and are a multiplayer experience where you should be challenged in some sense. I think the main thing that people don't understand when myself or other YouTubers or anyone complains about skill-based matchmaking, what I don't think people understand is that we don't want an easy game all the time. An easy game all the time means you get bored, you get complacent, and you don't have as much fun with the game as you usually would. What needs to be the standard, like it was back in the day, is to have a variety of different players on your team against you. Like, there's no harm in having a variety of players. There's no harm in having a game where you kill 60 people in a game of domination, or you win the match easily and get a victory royale in Fortnite one game, and then the other game you have to kind of play a bit smarter, be more competitive, and there's no reason why we shouldn't have both, but only having one makes no sense. Why would you corner people in playing a certain way? And that's what happens with games like Modern Warfare and games like Fortnite with skill-based matchmaking, is because Fortnite already, I guess, towards the end of the time that I was playing Fortnite, it ended up being really, really sweaty, even without skill-based matchmaking. You had people who, as soon as they heard gunfire, build a 4x4 around them with a castle with traps everywhere, and they were just crazy, sweaty people, even when skill-based matchmaking wasn't a thing in Fortnite. Here in Modern Warfare, same sort of situations. We've had Call of Duties previously, which had lobby balancing, which balances each team dependent on, mostly it would be overall ranking, so like whether you're level 50 or you're level 1, the game will balance it that way. Even before skill-based matchmaking, you could have competitive games, and I think that's what people need to understand, is that you can have competitive games without skill-based matchmaking. You can have newer players enjoy and thrive within a game without skill-based matchmaking. Like, people don't need to be carried anymore, or people don't need to be babysat anymore. I think that's the way to put it. Gaming has evolved so far. People are playing games from when they're 2 years old, or they're old enough to hold an iPad and play a stupid mobile game. People have been playing games for a long time. Gaming as a whole has grown so much, so I think it's really narrow-minded, and it doesn't make sense to think of players that aren't as good as everyone else to think that you should change your whole game and your matchmaking system in order to accommodate for those players who aren't as good as everybody else. I have a feeling that everyone who is still playing Fortnite is a decent Fortnite player. I have a feeling that everyone playing Modern Warfare is a decent Modern Warfare player. And then even players who have gone back to play Black Ops 4 and World War II are definitely above average Call of Duty players, because anyone with a right state of mind would go back and play the older COD instead of Modern Warfare. again, because of skill-based matchmaking amongst every other thing that's wrong with Modern Warfare. Skill-based matchmaking is a system that needs to go. It's not a healthy system. I don't see the joy in sweating it out every single game just to get a win or just to get a couple of kills or anything like that. I don't see the joy in getting so frustrated with the game just because you're getting paired with players who are around the same skill level of you. Fair enough, if you come up against a player who is better than you, you can concede defeat. He's a better player than I am, or she's a better player than I am. That's it. That's fair enough. But when it's every single game and you're coming against players who are of the same or near or better than you are, it's frustrating. It's frustrating. And I think that no one wants to come home after a long day of uni, school, work, anything, whatever happens in your life where you think, fuck, I just want to chill out, sit down and play Fortnite or play Modern Warfare or whatever. No one wants to come home after a long day and be frustrated with the video game that they chose to spend and they chose to play in order to relieve them of some sort of stress that's going on with them at that current point in time. Gaming shouldn't be something where you get super duper frustrated at, and I understand gaming without anything, even without skill-based matchmaking, you get frustrated with the game, but I don't think that games should have systems in place to make that a better chance of happening. Games should be fun. Games should be enjoyable. They should be a thing that people can unwind with. I don't think that players, especially myself, and I'm sure you guys as well, I'm sure that we don't want to come home after a long day and get frustrated that there's level 155s all around our lobby and we're just a mere level 76 or whatever that is, just purely based to skill-based matchmaking. I'm sure that we all don't want to be playing the same people every single time we play Modern Warfare, even with crossplay enabled, just because the players that we're playing with are of the same or near skill level than us, so we'll keep playing against those players. I'm sure that people who play Fortnite don't want to sweat it out and just be building all the time, and sometimes they just want to have a fun time, use different weapons and try different landing spots and have fun with the game, but they can't really, because every time they drop into a game it's a massive sweat fest, because again, they're playing with players of the same skill. And ultimately what it's down to is, since you're playing with players of the same skill, everyone's going to try their hardest not to lose, right? No one's going to go into a game, a multiplayer game, and think, okay, I'm going to lose this game. Or, okay, I'm not going to do as well in this game because I don't want to do well in this game. Like, that's not something that people normally do. You go into a multiplayer match of COD or Fortnite or whatever game you play. You go into a match and you want to do your best. You want to win. You want to get as many kills as you can or whatever. That's what people go into playing multiplayer games for. And skill-based matchmaking doesn't necessarily help that, because you have to sweat it out every single time. And it's frustrating, and it's annoying because you'll get those people coming out of the closet who think skill-based matchmaking is an amazing new feature that really sucks or shoves adrenaline through their veins, because they can have that competitive push or when they're playing Call of Duty or Fortnite, just like they do when they play Insurgency or Rainbow Six Siege, or those slower tactical more competitive shooters, or CSGO even to an extent. Like, that's not everyone's like that. Not everyone wants to have and to feel like they're playing in a competitive game for thousands of dollars every time they load into a 10-minute match of Domination or a 15-20 minute match of Fortnite. That's not everyone's cup of tea, and it's frustrating when the vocal minority who's for skill-based matchmaking is so anal about this system being the best thing that they've ever seen in their life, and that it benefits the game so much because each game is soothing to their adrenaline bugs or whatever the fuck they talk about when they want every game to be a sweat fest. It doesn't make sense, and it doesn't really benefit the wider gaming community. Why would I want to be frustrated every time I play Call of Duty? Why would I want to be frustrated every time I play Fortnite? Don't you want to have fun when you play your games? Don't you want to just kick back, chill out, relax when you play certain video games? I'm sure that everyone has that one game that they will always and can always go back to. I'm sure that everyone has that franchise or whatever it is that they can always go back to have a good time. Can you imagine if that one game you're picturing, whether that be Call of Duty, Fortnite, anything else, any other game, can you imagine if that one game had skill-based matchmaking and how that would affect the way you play that game. Because instantly when skill-based matchmaking is there, you turn from just having a fun time to, alright, switch it on, let's be competitive, let's try our best, because we have to try our best because everyone else is as good as I am. Which sucks. It absolutely sucks. And skill-based matchmaking has absolutely no place in multiplayer shooter video games at all. There's no there's no reason for it. In the wider sense of gaming, why would I keep saying this, why would you want every single game to be competitive? And it's not that I'm crying because I want to poop on noobs every single time I play Call of Duty. I want a variety, a mixture of players that I can play against. One game I can be shitting on noobs, one game it can be pretty competitive in terms of like the match being close and that sort of stuff, but still not as much as a sweat fest. I can try different guns out, I can try different perks. I'm not tied to using the M4 or the MP5, or in Fortnite you have to always get the best guns and you can't be experimental and try different guns and different ways of playing, because skill-based matchmaking doesn't allow you to do that. I think the beauty with gaming is allowing players to take control of that game and allowing players to do whatever the fuck they want with that game, and skill-based matchmaking doesn't help that at all. Skill-based matchmaking makes players play a certain way, which is slow, sweaty, and just not fun. And that's it. Skill-based matchmaking is ruining gaming. It is. If more games opt in to put skill-based matchmaking in, where's the fun? Where's the fun out of a multiplayer shooter if every multiplayer shooter has skill-based matchmaking, and all the time you're coming up against players who are a same or near or a better skill level than you are? What's the point? Anyways, leave a like if you enjoyed this video, comment down below what do you think of skill-based matchmaking as a whole, not necessarily just in a sense of Modern Warfare and Call of Duty, but the wider gaming community and every other game. Let me know your thoughts on that down below. Click like if you enjoyed, again as I said. Click subscribe if you're new here as well, so if you don't miss out on any of my upcoming videos, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace out.
Pull up in the gold, I'm leading. But them other man need feeding. I don't wanna go Bombay. Them I don't know what I do when I go from Beeling. Leading the pack in black and I'm on with the bat. Snapping with the phone and dab. Boss up a man with the duster. Put him in the drip and sip blockbuster. Win, 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 that's the only MO. Ring, 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 I reply with NO. Call me Leno, had it hot.